Sports.
For just the second time this season, the Cincinnati Reds have won 3 straight games. Behind Mike Leake's best pitching performance of the season, and also his home run, which began back-to-back home runs, the Reds took the opening game of the 4-game series tonight. They face the hottest pitcher in the National League, Atlanta's Brandon Beachy, and he locks up with Matt Latos in Game 2. Another beautiful weather night in downtown Cincinnati, and we welcome you to Great American Ballpark. The Reds just getting started on a 7-game homestand. They won the opener in the first of 4 here last night with the Atlanta Braves coming to the Queen City. And hi again, everybody, alongside Chris Welsh, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds baseball. They've ripped off 3 straight wins. We know how great the pitching, by and large, Chris, has been all year long. Again, it was last night, limiting this Atlanta lineup to 1 run. But when the top of the order is getting on base, those have been good nights for scoring for this team.
You've got to have some table setters, Tommy. You know, there's no doubt about that. Of course, when you've got Joey Votto in the middle of the lineup, what the guys do ahead of him is very, very important. But last night, how about Drew Stubbs and Zack Cozart? Cozart, 2 for 4 with a solo home run. Nice to get him back to the top of the lineup, swinging the bat good, feeling good as he does at home. And Drew Stubbs, how about him going down and pick that ball off his shoe tops to hit one out of here? He was 2 for 3 with a couple of home runs. And boy, when you get that kind of production ahead of Joey Votto in the middle of the lineup, your offense is certainly going to click a lot better.
Seems like Stubbs is settling in nicely to that 2 spot in the lineup.
Well, it seems like when he doesn't get it, when he's in the leadoff spot, he's not the same guy. But when you take the pressure off him, put him in the number 2 spot, he is a lot better. Near 300 batting average, 5 home runs. You see what he's done in the number 2 hole. And Zack Cozart at home, he is a completely different guy. He struggled on the road, but how about nearly a 330 batting average at home right here in Great American Ballpark? They've got the rest of the week to play here. Hopefully these 2 guys will stay hot.
Well, tonight, hits could be tough to come by. You've got Matt Latos getting the ball for the Reds. Brandon Beachy starting it for Atlanta. We'll talk about this matchup when we return on Fox Sports Ohio.
Authority of the Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
About 5 minutes away from our first pitch, a perfect weather night and getting nicer by the minute. Our weather report brought to you by Thompson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drain Cleaning. Here's Tim Edrick.
Now's the time. No one's playing all that well in the Central Division except the Reds. Go 10 for 12 out of the next 12 games. Put some distance between you and the other guys. 70 to start tonight. 65 heading home. I think mostly to partly cloudy skies. Watch this. This is my up the middle swing. Oh! Enjoy the game on Fox Sports Ohio.
Well, hits tonight are going to be pretty tough to come by. What a year it's been for Brandon Beachy.
Well, you're not kidding about that. For a guy that was never even drafted out of high school or college, Brandon Beachy is coming here with an earned run average better than anybody in all of Major League Baseball. He's got one of the best batting average against, which is about 177. He threw a complete game shutout his last time out. This 6'3" right-hander really knows how to pitch. He's got a big overhand 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock curveball, and he's on top of his game. Matt Latos better be on top of his game because he's a guy that the Reds desperately need to get on track and get on track in a big way. They wrote off the month of April, figuring that's always been a bad month for him, but he's coming off an outing against the Mets in New York where he went only 5 innings, pitched 100 pitches in that 5-inning outing, and looking for his third quality start in 9 if he's able to nail it down here tonight against the Braves.
Already Reds going for 4 consecutive wins and trying to go to 4 games over 500. First pitch right around the corner. The 2012 Ford F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year by Cincinnati USA. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Game time is Skyline time. Stop by your favorite Skyline Chili tonight. Good crowd rolling in, and we are ready for baseball. The Atlanta Braves coming to town at 10 games over 500. Leaders of the National League East under manager Freddie Gonzalez. Reds got him here last night in the opener 4-1. And the Braves lineup tonight brought to you by AXA Advisors. Again, Michael Boyne, Martin Prado, and Freddie Freeman to start it. Dan Uggla, Jason Hayward in right. Juan Francisco down at third again for Chipper Jones. David Ross in for Brian McCann catching. Tyler Pasternicky, the shortstop, Brandon Beachy on the mound. And starting it for the Reds, trying to get on a roll. Reds expecting big things this year out of Matt Latos.
Well, it's as simple for Matt Latos as being simple on the mound. Trying to command his fastball is the biggest thing. Resisting the temptation to try to overthrow that and overthrow his curveball. That's really where he's gotten into problems, is that when he gets into problems, he tries to rear back and throw harder, and that doesn't work. You try to snap your breaking ball off harder, and that usually doesn't work either. So a little better mound presence, I think, when things go wrong for Latos would go a long, long way. Hopefully he'll be able to get that going. Against the Braves, he's got a 2-2 record, and quite frankly, a number of the Braves hitters have not done all that well against him in the past. So this ought to be a good matchup of a couple of hard-throwing right-handers out here tonight.
Let's take a look at the Reds defense behind Matt Latos, presented by your Ford dealers. Heisey the nod in left field tonight, joining Stubbs and Bruce. A change at third. It's Miguel Cairo for Todd Frazier, and the battery of Latos and Ryan Hannigan. Michael Bourne digging in. A hitless night last night, and of course that goes a long way into slowing down this Atlanta offense. They've scored the second most runs in the National League, second only to St. Louis this year. They're strike one, and this game is underway.
Now the Reds are already concerned about the bunt from Michael Bourne. He is really coming in hard. Miguel Cairo just trying to discourage that left-handed hitter from dropping one down on that side.
Bourne at .314, 11 runs batted in, has 8 doubles. He has 13 stolen bases. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Reds and the Braves ranked second and third among all National League teams in terms of best record, going back to April the 19th. Both of these teams were slow out of the gate, but both have really been rolling ever since mid-April.
Well, it's really a combination for the Braves. They have been always a pretty good hitting ball club, but their pitching finally coming around now to the point where people expected it to be. Of course, last year pitching was their forte. Freddie Gonzalez has seen his ball club beginning to gel a little bit, and the same you can say for the Reds. They're gelling. They have a little bit better idea of what's going on in the bullpen now, and I think this ball club, both of them, poised to do some damage.
In the air down the left field line, a long run for Heisey, and it's out of play. 2-2 on Bourne.
You know, the Braves have 3 base stealers in their lineup, and if you're Matt Latos, that's a big deal because he has a hard time shutting down the opposing running game. And this guy at the top of the lineup is the guy you have to concentrate on. Martin Prado, he's got 4 of them, so he can run in certain situations, and Jason Hayward is the other. But the main man right here at the plate, Michael Bourne.
Well, here right out of the gate, Latos has run the count full on Bourne. Of course, pitch count has been a major problem for Latos through the first nearly 2 months of his Reds career. His last game, he had a lead with over 100 pitches in just 5 innings. That ball is clubbed into deep right field. Atlanta leads 1-0.
Even little guys can go deep when you put the ball in their wheelhouse, and Michael Bourne shows it right here. Hannigan wants it down and in, and maybe that wasn't all that bad of a pitch compared to where Hannigan was setting up, and he got it about chest high and inside, short stroking it. Michael Bourne, one thing you're worried about him is laying down a bunt and stealing second base. Next thing you're worried about is hitting a home run. Anybody can do it.
So just like that, one batter, 1-0 Atlanta. It's strike one to Martin Prado. He comes in as the hottest hitter among all these Atlanta Braves. Had a season-high 10-game hitting streak come to an end on Saturday. The following day had 2 more hits. And despite the fact that last year he was on the disabled list with that staph infection to his calf, put together 3 hitting streaks of 10 games or more. This guy can play.
Guy's a player. You're right about that.
First time this year, Michael Bourne has led off a game with a home run. And Prado went around, and that is strike 3.
Well, he wanted to keep the fastball away from Martin Prado. He went back-to-back breaking balls right there. That's a good put-him-away slider right off the outside corner, and Prado could not hold back. You know, that breaking ball for Matt Latos is important, and not one where he should be nibbling too much with it. It's good enough to be able to throw that for a strike and attack the strike zone with it.
Straight in the air on the first pitch in the at-bat to Freddie Freeman. Playable out there for Jay Bruce. 2 out. You know, Chris, help me with this a little bit. I think a lot of folks that have been watching Latos, as far as just pure stuff goes, there are very few guys blessed with more talent than Matt Latos. With that in mind, why would he be racking up huge pitch count numbers so early in a game?
Well, because he's not throwing strikes with his breaking ball. And when you don't do that and the hitters are knowing fastballs are coming, you can't throw them down the pike, even if you're throwing them at 95 miles an hour. So you start to pick at the corners. Next thing you know, you're running the 3 counts a lot. They foul balls off. His fastball is relatively straight for a guy that throws 95. Most guys who throw that hard have straight fastballs. Occasionally you run into a Jeff Samardzija who's got a lot of hair on a fastball that moves all over the place at 95, but that's very rare. So those fastballs are sometimes pitches that if you throw them in the zone, you guys can foul them off and run your pitch counts up.
Another area where Latos has really been hurt, and the Bourne home run continues that trend of giving up base hits, including home runs, with 2 strikes in the at-bat. 3-0 to Dan Uggla.
So there's a perfect example right there. If you're going to throw a 2-0 pitch, you've got to throw a strike. So Uggla's a good fastball hitter, so you said, all right, I'm going to throw a breaking ball right here. But you've got to be able to throw that breaking ball for a strike. Doesn't have to be a great strike. Chances are Uggla's not looking for it on a 2-0 count, not going to waste his at bat. He's giving you a strike there if you can get that breaking ball over.
3-0 on Uggla, and a fastball right down the middle. 3-1. 5 of the 6 home runs now allowed by Latos so far this year have come with 2 strikes in the at bat. Threw a 3-1 fastball right by him after throwing that breaking ball at 2-0. Uggla 5 home runs on the year, 24 runs batted in, 3-2 pitch. And there's that foul ball, Chris, you alluded to a minute ago. Talked a little bit about Uggla last night. Came up originally in the Arizona Diamondbacks organization. The Marlins got him as a Rule 5 player, meaning he was left off Arizona's roster. Well, all he's done since then, 5 years of 30 or more home runs. That's a major league record for second baseman. Down the right field line, Bruce to get it, inning over, but damage done. Forbes leads off the game with a home run. The Reds will try and answer when they bat in a moment. trailing 1-0 on a Michael Bourne home run. Let's take a look at his lineup tonight, presented by AXA Advisors. He's got Chris Heisey in there, and why not? 6 out of 7 in the quick 2-game series at Turner Field last week. Cozart, Stubbs, and Votto to start it. Brandon Phillips in a cleanup spot. Jay Bruce in right and Heisey out there in left. A ladder third of the third baseman Cairo, catcher Hannigan, pitcher Latos. Brandon Beachy, the numbers are gaudy.
Well, if you like guys that don't give up a lot of hits nor give up a lot of runs, and you like the art of pitching, you really like Brandon Beachy. 6'3", 215-pounder from Kokomo, Indiana. He was never drafted, not by the Braves out of high school, not by anybody out of college. He went to Indiana Wesleyan and was signed by a Brave scout when he went down to play summer ball one year in Virginia.
It's hard to believe in it.
I mean, it's a kind of a story that really is unbelievable, but he is on some kind of a run right now. Good fastball, throw it right by you upstairs, and a hammer of a breaking ball.
Fastball in there, strike one to Zack Cozart. Rookie shortstop, .239 batter. It is 4th home run of the year last night. Has 10 doubles. Had 2 hits and 4 at-bats in the series opener. Popped up in front of the plate, and that's a former Red, David Ross. 1 away. Atlanta defensively, they did not have a good game here last night. Presented by your Ford dealers. Same outfield, same infield. The only change behind the plate. Chipper Jones took a line 1 hopper on Saturday off the artificial surface in Tampa Bay. It hit him just above the left ankle, and they're wondering when he's going to be well enough to get back in the lineup today. He did take batting practice. Drew Stubbs, a pair of home runs here last night, giving him 5 on the year. And he's quickly behind 0-2. Home plate umpire tonight, Ed Hickox. What do we know about him?
Well, we know a lot about Ed Hickox. He's right in the middle of the road as far as the number of balls and strikes he calls related to the rest of Major League umpires. He's from DeLand, Florida. And Ed Hickox, believe it or not, Tom, has a pilot's license, and he works in the wintertime as a detective for the Daytona Shores Police Department.
How about that?
Yeah.
Very
Watch
nice.
yourself down there, big boy.
This could be a hit. And safely reaching his Stubbs when that ball took that high hop. And the shortstop, Pastor Nicky, had to wait for the second bounce. You knew Stubbs had a chance to reach safely.
2 things infielders do when you're playing against Drew Stubbs. Number 1 is you play shallow. You'll come in a step or 2 just because you don't want to have happen to you what happened to Tyler Pasternicki here. Ball comes off the plate, takes a high hop. Number 1, that's going to give Stubbs an advantage. Number 2, if you back up before you throw, you're not going to get your man.
That'll be an infield hit for Stubbs. He has 7 stolen bases and 9 tries, and now Votto. Joey, a .304 batter, 7 home runs, 28 runs batted in, has 17 doubles. Was on base 3 times last night, a single and a pair of walks. Thing you notice right away about Beachy, first time the Reds have seen him this year, they've only seen him 1 time in his career. Not one of those guys rushing it up there 93, 95, 97.
Well, he's not, but he's got a sneaky arm, and that ball gets on you in a hurry. He can throw the ball by you upstairs with a high fastball. He's got great rotation, backwards rotation on a 4-seamer, and it doesn't sink. It stays right there, and that's one reason why he can pitch successfully upstairs. One of the other things you're going to recognize immediately on him is that if you're thinking about stealing a base, good luck. I mean, this guy has virtually no leg lift. That is a slide step every pitch from Beachy. This year they've stolen 3. They've had 2 throw-em outs. He just doesn't give you much of an opportunity to get a good good running jump off the pitcher.
1-2 to Joey Votto. Stubbs over there at first leading. There he goes. He got a great jump. No chance they're going to throw him out. None whatsoever. You knew as soon as he broke that that was easily going to be number 8.
Well, even though he's quick to the plate, if you pick the right time to do it. And he actually took off, it looked like Drew Stubbs did, before Beachy made a move. He was anticipating the timing of Beachy going to the plate, and he actually got a step on him before he even made a move at all. That's 8 of them now for Stubbs.
So an RBI chance for Votto. Reds are trailing 1-0 with 1 out and 1 on here in the last of the first inning. That ball driven hard into left center field, but Bourne had him shaded that way. Stubbs will tag up, and he'll advance 90 feet. There are 2 outs in the inning. I want to remind you, play along with Fox Sports Ohio tonight. It closes at the top of the second inning, so log on right now, Fox Sports Ohio. Click on Play Along, and then watch the rest of the game to see how well you do. We'll have your bonus question coming up in the bottom of the 5th inning. Play along with Fox Sports Ohio. Brandon Phillips takes a strike. 259 batter. Pair of home runs, just 15 runs batted in for Phillips. Slowed down for nearly a month with that hamstring injury, and just now reaching 100% good health. We'll see if that starts to turn into better offensive numbers for the Reds second baseman and Atlanta native. Fooled badly there is Phillips, and he's behind at 1-2.
Now that's a curveball, and that's his second best pitch after his fastball. He had a very good changeup his last time out, according to those that follow the Atlanta Braves around. Of course, that was a 5-hit shutout of the Miami Marlins. Did not walk a batter in that ball game. One of the more dominant games of the season for an Atlanta Brave pitcher.
And that ball is clobbered. Straight away center field. Bourne the track. The wall. Reds lead. It's only the second home run in 55 innings surrendered by Brandon Beachy this year.
Well, Brandon Beachy and David Ross, his catcher, wanted that ball down and away. And knowing that he wanted to throw a strike on this count, he threw that ball on the outer part of the plate, but up, and Brandon put a good lick on that one. That's the way you answer a leadoff home run by Michael Bourne right there.
Home run number 3 for Brandon. You know, we were talking during that at bat. His batting average has really started to rise since he's gotten healthier.
Oh, boy. That ball was meant to be down and away, and it came up and in, and Brandon Phillips was all over it, right out the front door. They're going to give Ed Hickox a little bit of a breather right here. We go back to real time, and he got hit in the face by that foul ball, went right back and got him in his face mask. And that's an important thing for Hickox, because he was hit also in 2009 in April. He missed a few days. When he came back, he went back on to DL, the umpire's DL, and in fact, he missed the rest of the season, the entire 2009 season, with a concussion. There it is again. Well, he's one of the only umpires in Major League Baseball to wear that hockey-style mask. So, you know, you talk about catchers having concussion syndromes. It happens to umpires, too, and Ed Hickox nearly missed an entire season with it, and hopefully he's going to be okay.
Steve Bauman coming out to double check on Ed. Hopefully he is all right. Broken back, roller to the second baseman, and the inning is over. But Brandon Phillips flexing his muscles here in the bottom of the first inning. By Elk and Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Now look at what the Braves offense scored, the second most runs now in the National League in 3 games against the Reds, averaging 2.7 runs per game. Look what they've done against everybody else.
I'll tell you what, they've done a lot against everybody else. Slugging percentage over 400 against the Reds. They don't get any extra base hits at all. Only a 227 batting average. So the Reds pitching, in other words, have held a very potent offense of the Braves down very well. That's one reason why they're feeling pretty good about the rest of this series. They've taken 2 out of 3 so far against the Braves this year. They hope that they can continue that climb.
Jason Hayward to begin things here in the Atlanta second inning. Hayward at 241, 5 home runs, 21 batted in. He was a final out of the night last night. Sean Marshall got him on a fly ball to right. Atlanta stranding 2 in the 4-1 Reds win. Fastball didn't miss by much right there.
Well, I'm not sure where that ball was, and looked like it didn't even move the glove of Ryan Hannigan. Now they're going to come inside on him. That home run by Brandon Phillips ought to give Matt Latos a little bit of a boost of energy, a little adrenaline out there. You know, you get down, you feel bad, the leadoff guy, he takes you for a home run, but your guys come right back and give you a 1-run lead. And he is pumped up now. Good fastball right by him at the letters. Second punch out of the night for Matt Latos. He just goes right up the ladder.
So now the former Red Juan Francisco. Making his 16th start of the season down at third base. Has hit 3 home runs in those starts, including one here last night. And in the 15 starts, 11 runs batted in for Francisco. Strike one. A deal was made sending Francisco from the Reds to the Braves for minor leaguer, now major leaguer, J.J. Hoover on the 1st of April, just before opening day. And while Francisco put up very, very impressive numbers rising through the Reds organization from a power and production standpoint, the real Achilles heel for him, striking out over 500 of them during his Reds minor league career.
Well, he's a swinger. I mean, he's not a hitter. He's not a guy that works the count. He's not somebody that changes his approach based on the pitcher or the count. I mean, he's up there wheeling it, letting it loose, coming out of his shoes, trying to hit one out into the river every time up.
Got tied up there inside, and it's back-to-back strikeouts for Latos here in the second.
Great combination of pitches by Ryan Hannigan. Hannigan calls the pitches for Latos. There's no question about that. And Latos pretty much goes with whatever Hannigan wants. And there are very few in the game that will call a better one than Ryan Hannigan.
So now digging in, another former Red, David Ross. A couple of home runs, 5 runs batted in limited playing time. Of course, when you're the backup to Brian McCann in Atlanta or Yadier Molina in St. Louis, starts are few and far between. Strike one.
One of the all-time great guys. Got to know him very well when he was a member of the Reds here. Just a wonderful guy, a guy that appreciates where he is in the major leagues. He takes it. He knows he's not going to be a starter. He knows he's going to play behind McCann and only get spot starts. Tell you what, though, you leave a fastball out over the plate, this guy is strong as a bull, and he can hit it a long, long way if he makes contact.
One and one to Ross. Breaking ball in there, strike.
Well, Latos throwing more strikes with that breaking ball.
With a fastball at 95 miles per hour up in the zone and fouled away by Ross. Latos trying to fan the side here in the second. Dribbled foul. It remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Strike 3 called. 95 on the outside edge, and Latos fans aside. Hayward, Francisco, and Ross And take advantage of the Reds 4 for $48 deal. $48. You get 4 view level tickets, 4 Reds hats. Don't forget Friday night we have our fireworks. Saturday the Scott Rowland Rawlings Gold Glove Award replica trophy giveaway, and then the kids get binoculars on Sunday. Great weekend of baseball. Night games Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. 381 Reds, or visit Reds.com for tickets. It's going to be a fun weekend. You'll be right here in the TV booth, right, Chris?
You better believe it.
2-1 ball game. Reds in front on a 2-run home run by Brandon Phillips. Isaac Cairo Hannigan against Brandon Beachy, who came in tonight with a 1.33 earned run average through his first 8 starts of the year.
He had only given up 1 home run all year long before that long ball by Brandon Phillips.
Fouled out a play by Chris. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We'll take a look at the Major League Baseball ERA leaders. In the front 5 all reside in the National League. Beachy number 1. Probably the biggest surprise on that list would be Carlos Zambrano. Now if we were talking 2 or 3 years ago, maybe not a surprise. Pasternicki throws out Heisey, 1 away. Only 2 other Atlanta Braves pitchers have had an ERA of under 1.5 through their first 8 starts of the season since the club made the move from Milwaukee to Atlanta. Buzz Capra, remember him? That great 1974 season he had. And of course, Hall of Famer to beat, Greg Maddux, 1994. And joining that group is Mr. Beachy. Strike 1 to Miguel Cairo.
Well, what a success story for a guy like Brandon Beachy. As I said earlier, never drafted, never really scouted all that much. In fact, the scouts that signed him for the Braves went actually to see another player. Then they saw Beachy pitch and said, hey, maybe we ought to run his name out. They did.
Down the right field line, a long run for Hayward. What a play by Jason Hayward, and that's a fair ball. Man, he went a long way to track that down. Good play by Hayward.
He's a big, tall guy, 6 feet 5 inches, long legs, and he covers a lot of ground in each of those strides. And knows he's running out of room right here, but he still is able to make that catch. Good play. So Beachy ends up signing that summer for $20,000. Braves sent him to Danville, their rookie league team. Next year in 2009, he's 22 by this time. He plays A ball, high A, and then double A. And then 2010, he's sitting in the bullpen in double A. And one of their starters, a left-handed starter that got off to a very bad start, they decided to take him out of the rotation. They put Beachy in. By the end of the year, he's in the big leagues.
Into center field, and the inning is over. Reds lead 2-1. We go to the 3rd. Sam Amico has an NBA draft profile of Xavier's 2 Holloway. And Pat McManaman asks if players understand their local sports history when they criticize the fans. That's in reference to Chris Perez of the Indians. All on FoxSportsOhio.com. Have you heard that tirade yet?
I have not heard the entire tirade. I read about it. I read some of the response and reaction to it. What do you think about
there
it?
was no holding back.
Yeah, well.
The Indians are having a nice year. They're having a really nice year. They start a very important series tonight. The Tigers are in town. Indians sitting atop the American League Central, 5 games over 500, 2.5 in front of the White Sox, 3 better than Detroit.
Could be a little bit deeper than just what you're doing this year. You know, if you're a fan, what'd you do last year or the year before or the year before that? I mean, you have to go back to the days of Albert Bell. It is frustrating for players, no doubt. But you're playing well. You think you may be overachieving. You're working really hard. You're getting those wins. You like to see the stadium full. Believe me, there's no better place than playing at home with your stadium full and rocking. And I think that's all he really meant to say. Came out in kind of a strong way.
Indeed. 8, 9, and 1 of the batting order, starting with a shortstop, Tyler Pasternicki. They believe this young man has a chance to be a very good offensive player at the shortstop position. Many wonder, Chris, about his defense. Would it be good enough to play him at that position every single day and commit to the long run? But he can swing the bat a little bit. 1-2. Latos has fanned 4, including the side in the second inning.
Well, he's already had his pocket picked once already tonight by Drew Stubbs on that high hopper that he decided to play back on instead of charging. You know, you learn that lesson. You get talked to by the infield coach. You get coached a little bit. I like what I see. He's got a pretty good idea at the plate. Not a good swing right there, but Latos has been throwing the ball by just about everybody so far.
First pitch swinging, the pitcher Beachy lifts it into short left center. Heise's there, and that's a quick out. And 2 away now in the Atlanta third inning. Tonight's Ohio Lottery Mega Millions jackpot up to $16 million, and we remind you the drawing is at 11 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. So now Bourne, the only base runner of the game for Atlanta, and he touched them all with a leadoff home run on a 3-2 pitch to right field. If you're just joining us, Brandon Phillips answered that with a man aboard, a 2-out home run to straightaway center field, and the Reds with a 1-run lead with 2 away and none on here in the third. Ball hit hard in a deep left center field, and that will sail off the wall. Stubbs will fire it quickly back into the cutoff man, and that's a 2-out double for Michael Bourne. He has the only 2 Atlanta hits on the night.
Well, he's shown some power tonight, too. He's hit the home run, obviously. a shot that he turned around on a fastball. Here he takes a pitch that's going away from him the other way. One hops the wall left center field. That's a long way out there for a leadoff hitter. Okay, this guy has grown into quite a player. Originally property of the Philadelphia Phillies, and when he went over to Houston, had a couple of bad years where people thought, well, he's just kind of a slap hitter and not really going to do much. But look at the hits leaders in the National League. He is right there.
Born a free agent at the end of this season. Came over in that deal from the Astros last summer at the trade deadline. It's fouled out of play. It's really the first time the Braves will enter a season this year with speed at the top of their order. First time really since the final year when Rafael Furcal was a younger man as their everyday shortstop. He left in 2005. Born in 53 games after the trade last year, had 22 stolen bases. That was more than any other player had for the Braves over an entire season since Furcal left. 1-1 to Prado. Straight up in the air, should in the inning. Votto, and that's that. They hit a man left. 2-1 Reds after 2.5. I know you're looking forward to Miller time later in our game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Cheer on the Reds. They take on the Rockies this Friday night at Great American Ballpark. Got the Reds 4 for 48 ticket deal. You get the 4 level view tickets, and you get 4 Reds hats. All that for a total of $48. Stick around after the game. The phenomenal fireworks show we have on Friday nights, presented by Orville Redenbacher. 5-1-3-3-1 Reds. We've been to all the ballparks. No ballpark in Major League Baseball can match the fireworks we have here on Friday nights in Cincinnati, because of course the folks that make the fireworks for all the biggest fireworks shows all over the world, Rozzi Fireworks, are based right here in Cincinnati. So when they're working on new stuff and things they got going on, you know, Chris, we're among the very first to see it. Pretty much on Friday night starting Memorial Day.
You're right about that. We've seen fireworks everywhere, Tom. There's Firework Fridays. A lot of Major League teams have them. And some of them are better than others, but none. And I mean none are better than the ones you see here. I mean, these go on and on. It's like a 25-minute finale.
Well, he was just amazing. I mean, you're thinking about bringing the kids down, or, maybe get some couples in the neighborhood, or whatever it might be. Come down here, watch a ball game, and then you hang out. And you're right. It's a good 25, 30-minute show every Friday night. Zack Cozart, first pitch swinging, fouls it out of play, popped up to the catcher. His first time up. In the air, well hit left center field. Bourne at the track. See you later.
Well, he is cranking it, isn't he? Hit one last night. He turns on a fastball about belt high, inner half. Our performance on, and look at that good level swing by Zack Cozart. I tell you, the guy has deceptive power, deceptive speed, deceptive arm. That ball just kept going and going.
He is one good-looking young player, man.
And you said something about him, Tom, last night that I really hadn't thought about, and it really makes a lot of sense. He's a big guy.
Yep.
I mean, look at him standing next to Brandon Phillips. I mean, he's just about every bit as big as Brandon. And Brandon's a big guy. Those are the numbers that he has done at home, and man, he has just been lights out here at Great American Ballpark.
Well, we only got to see him for really about a week and a half last year. Of course, he was just tearing it up at AAA, and by the time they brought him to the big leagues, was in the lineup for about a week and a half, and then injured the elbow, ironically, against these Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
Trying to turn a double play at second base, injured his elbow. And then Tommy John surgery. That's a good pitch here by Beachy. That one ran in on Votto, and the inning is over. Before tonight, the only home run allowed by Beachy was to Matt Kemp. Well, you can put Brandon Phillips and Zack Cozart in that book now.
Here on Fox Sports Ohio. In-depth interviews, features, the first look at the lineups, and more. It's brought to you by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Reds Live pregame. Jim Day with you. We're out here by this tall stacks. It is Bowtie Tuesday, and Chris Welsh, I am sorry to report that Bowtie Tuesday is finally catching on. as Matt Latos goes to work here against the Braves. First pitch out of play. We've got some people that are actually wearing bow ties to the ballpark. In fact, 5 out here, including the female version of the bow tie. She's over here. And even a sign, Lefty. Bow Tie Tuesday with the Reds logo. So somehow you've done it. It has caught on.
It's a matter of time, JD, until we get you, Jim Day, in a bow tie on Tuesday, huh?
Well, if perhaps there's a gun to my head, or perhaps if there's a sponsor that comes along, then I'll do it.
Hey, Jimmy, look at my man Chuck D there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's looking good now.
Chuck D has even got the do you have a dress shirt on? He's got a dress shirt on.
He's always
with
looking good, man.
T-shirt over it, so he's kind of sporting his own kind of look.
You know, there's been some talk about a Chuck D bobblehead. I think with a bow tie, that would be a good look. Chuck D in that pose with the fist in the air. Have him give me the pose.
We might.
Jimmy, have him give you the pose of the home run.
Give me the home run pose, Chuck D.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Love it.
You got a good job, Jim Day. You know, you're out there with the good fans.
I hang out with the peeps, and oh, it's coming right at us.
Into right center field, and that is up against the wall, and that will be a good throw. That'll cut down Freeman easily at second base. Stubbs played it perfectly off the wall. It was hit so hard, it came right back at him, and his throw right on the button.
Well, if you're Freddie Freeman, why wouldn't you try to go for 2 on this? I mean, after all, you hit it as hard as you can. A breaking ball that he kind of hangs over the center of the plate, hits right at the base of the wall, and Drew Stubbs on a perfect one-hopper back to Brandon Phillips. It's another good look by Performance Honda. A little slow-mo action coming in there. That away.
Well, that is the one constant we talk about all the time. We've seen the Reds offense very, very inconsistent. Among the bottom third in the league scoring runs and a host of other categories. Their pitching by and large has been outstanding. But there is no team of their equal in the entire National League. In fact, I'm not even sure there's one close. If you go to every position on the field in terms of defense than what the Reds put out there every single night. It's as good as it gets.
Well, you have to have good defense, especially in this ballpark. You're going to give up cheap home runs here, and you don't want guys on base that are on base because of errors or non-plays or balls that should have been cut off or could have been cut off in the gap and aren't. Well, you got guys in the outfield. You got 3 former center fielders playing the outfield. They can all go get them. And for that reason, you can play a little shallower here at Great American Ballpark. You can take away those little tweener hits that fall in between the infield and the outfield. They got the shift on Ugla.
One and two the count. There you get a look at it. Brandon Phillips playing to the third base side of his second base bag.
Remember that Ugla falls off towards first base. And you say, well, why would you have a guy right behind the pitcher? Well, he falls off towards first base and he doesn't field that ball that goes right over the pitcher's mound. That's why Brandon Phillips is standing right out there.
Two and two the count on Dan Ugla. He flied out to Jay Bruce his first time up. So after getting ahead 0-2, all of a sudden it's run full, and this is something we have seen a lot from Matt Latos this year.
We have. Gets ahead, tries to pick at the corner, misses the corner. Next thing you know, you're full. Watch Ugla in the batter's box. I mean, he's all fidgety. He's got a little movement going on. Watch that front leg. Back and forth, back and forth. It's like, come on. Now he settles down just a little bit. But a guy that has got that kind of rhythm, he's showing me that he's really waiting to pick on that fastball. Got him on a 3-2 fastball last time, a little fly out to right field. Short arms, very powerful, tough guy to get inside on.
Eighth pitch in this at bat, Latos against Ugla. And he walked him after being ahead 0-2.
Now that makes that play by Drew Stubbs pretty big right now.
Well, just recently, Lonely Planet travel guide named Cincinnati, USA, one of the top 3 travel destinations for 2012. So what are you waiting for? Book your weekend getaway right here in the Queen City at CincinnatiUSA.com. Now Hayward, Reds leading 3-1. We're in the 4th. Ball 1.
That's the pitch. If you're a tall guy like Jason Hayward, unless you're just naturally a high ball hitter, that's a pitch off of Matt Latos that you have to lay off. I mean, if you start chasing that high end strike zone off of a guy that's throwing anywhere from 93 to 96, it's going to be a tough night.
Two and 0. Stubbs at play on the rocket off the right center field wall to begin this inning by Freeman. Was able to cut him down, trying to turn it into a double. Uggla follows with a walk, and now 2-0 to Freeman. And trouble of brewing here in the Atlanta 4th inning. Single, walk, extra base hit, and this will bring in a run, and that was absolutely terrible base running by Hayward. He should be standing at third base right now, and luckily he pulled the chute coming in close to second, looked at his third base coach who was telling him to come on, and by that time it was too late.
Well, you look at the third base coach, at least according to theory, the way they teach you, before you get to second base, not after you get there. This ball's going to hang in the corner and make it really tough for Jay Bruce to do anything but reach down, pick up, and throw it. There's Uggla coming around third. He's going to score no problem. But you got Hayward looking over his shoulder, then looking at his coach. You're right, he ought to be on third. I'm sure everybody in that Atlanta dugout wishes he was on third, so the Reds pick up a break there.
So now the tying run is out there in scoring position. Latos so impressive through the front 3 innings. And now all of a sudden here in the 4th, he is having a mighty tough time of it. Juan Francisco struck out his first time up. Fastball fouled out of play off to the third base side for strike 1.
Boy, good pitch right there, right in on his hands. Pitch he hit last night out over the plate, down around the ankles, and he likes him to go down there. He'll drop that bat head with the best of them. A little tougher to get on top of that one right around elbow high.
Tying run at second, 1 out. And that's nowhere near the strike zone. Of course, we remember September the 12th of last summer. Francisco hit the second longest home run ever here at Great American Ballpark. 502 feet. Over the moon deck out there in right field. Might have bounced on to Merring Way and into the river. The longest home run ever hit here was Adam Dunn. Remember this, Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Strong man. But he showed up a heavy man to spring training this year, and he fell out of the good graces of the Reds brass immediately. I mean, this was a kind of year the Reds were really leaning on Francisco to become a huge part of this club.
Well, I think they did the same thing last year, unfortunately for the Reds and Francisco, that he and Scott Rowland were injured about the same time.
Twice.
So the Reds really never got a chance to see him over a prolonged period to find out whether he was a big league everyday player or not.
Hayward takes off, got a tremendous jump, and now he'll have to race back as it's popped up to Phillips. 2 outs in the inning.
Got it right in on his hands. Good pitch.
Now David Ross, and that tying run is still in the form of Jason Hayward out at second base. Ross looked at strike 3, is only at bat tonight. Latos fanned 4 of the first 7 Atlanta Braves. He has not struck out a batter over the last 2 innings. This should leave the tying run in scoring position. It will. So the Braves get a couple of hits and a walk. They get a run. Reds still lead. This time down to 1. Live, brought to you by King's Honda and the King's Auto Mall. Here from the manager, Dusty Baker. Interviews with players. Chris Welsh will drop by. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. And you know the drill. If a Reds player were to hit that Toyota sign during our game, Bob Blea from Alexandria, Kentucky, a proud owner of a Camry hybrid, will win that beautiful new Tundra. And you can register for your chance to win in an upcoming game by stopping by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. It's a good looking ride. I can see you cruising down the road in that car, Chris.
Yeah.
Reds colors, red, white, little black mixed in there.
I could deliver mulch out to your house.
That'd be nice.
I could get the gate open. You leave me the code one of these days.
No, I doubt that. I really doubt it. In fact, I know that won't happen.
Well, do without.
Phillips, a drive into right center as he homered for a second time. Yes, he has. 2-run shot in the first inning. A solo home run in the fourth. That's 3 home runs in the game tonight for the Reds after Beachy had allowed 1 all year.
Boy, nothing like a little home cooking to get this Reds offense going again. A nice inside-out swing by Brandon Phillips. Brandon Beachy, welcome to Great American Ballpark.
Ninth career multi-homer game for Brandon Phillips. In fact, Brandon now has 3 home runs total against Beachy. And tonight a first for Beachy. It's the first time he's ever allowed 3 home runs in a game. Jay Bruce, a 3-hopper to the second baseman. And that's the first out here in the 4th inning. Bruce playing pepper down there with Dan Uggla. Boy, is he having a tough time of it right now, Jay Bruce.
Yeah, he's seeing his buddies going yard. Drew Stubbs a couple of times last night. Cozart once last night, once tonight. Phillips twice. Once Oppage tonight. You want to get in the action. You get a little anxious up there. You pull that front shoulder out. You roll over on it, and you hit a ground ball to the third shortstop or second baseman.
First pitch swinging Heisey right at Francisco. 2 are out in the inning. Bruce now 1 hit in his last 22 at bats. Of course, the one thing Jay talked about, he showed up in such extraordinary physical shape after working out all winter. But all he talked about was, I want to end these extended streaks of no production. I mean, it's not like he goes on, a cool period where, maybe over a week and a half or 10 days, he'll find a way still to knock in 5, 6, 7 runs. It'll be a 2 or 3 week period where he'll knock in 2. High roll, fly ball to center, and that'll end the inning. But Bruce still working at it, and Brandon Phillips has it working tonight. Moment is brought to you by Miller Lite. I mean, this was national news today. What happened here yesterday, Caleb Lloyd right there catching a home run by Mike Leake off the ricochet. The very next batter, Zack Cozart's home run, came up to the booth with us, and then after the game, he had a chance to meet Zack Cozart, gave Mike Leake the ball back because it was Leake's first career major league home run. And then before the game today, Caleb Lloyd of Thomas More College was the honorary captain for the Reds. And, boy, we talked about how much we enjoyed just meeting that young man. What a nice, dynamite kid.
Nice young man.
I mean, it was everywhere today. Fox News, CNN. Good morning, America. One out. You know, I was thinking about that driving in the ballpark today. You know, you think about that young man, okay? Here he is. You know, he goes to Northwest High School. He's a soccer player. Plays at Thomas More. Obviously, has a lot of buddies. He's very well liked, and you can understand why. But can you imagine, in the course of 2.5 minutes, you catch 2 home run balls, and the next thing you know, I mean, it's one thing to come out here and hang out with you and me for a little while. You know, I mean, that's very cool. There's no doubt about it. But, I mean, but all of a sudden, you know, today he's out of school. He's working now, you know, for the summer. I mean, can you imagine all of a sudden turning on the Fox News channel, and there you are? That's amazing.
Well, you know, you ought to take a little credit for that because Jim Day went out to interview him.
I'm not taking it.
And that it was you on the just off the cuff said, why don't you invite him up here to the booth? Bring him on up here, Jim Day. And he did. There he is, wearing his St. Thomas More Saints colors proudly tonight as he took the lineup card out.
And, you know, it was interesting tonight. We showed you the pictures of Angel Hernandez, the crew chief, apparently, and appeared to be. We didn't have a microphone down there. But it looked like he was very much engaged and very interested and fascinated of talking to that young man. You know, I was reminded last night after the game, a buddy of mine out in Arizona. A couple of years ago, there was a young man who caught 2 home run balls in a game at Camden Yards. And a piece was written about what the statistical odds of that happening would be. And it was in the hundreds of millions to 1. But the biggest difference it would certainly add, Lord knows how many more odds to 1, was having it in back-to-back batters. This young man caught 2 home run balls over the course of a game. But in back-to-back batters, this has to be literally billions to 1, the odds of that happening.
That I would not know, but I would ask you maybe go home tonight, work on that, and come back with an answer tomorrow.
I cannot count that high.
Well, it couldn't happen to a nicer kid.
No doubt.
But we got to know him. You know, what impressed us immediately, and one of the reasons why you invited him up, because he answered every question that Jim Day gave him as yes, sir, or no, sir.
Yes.
And you and me, I saw the look in your eyes. You immediately said, Jim, get him up here, please.
You know, we try to tell our kids all the time. If it's down to you and one other guy for a job interview, and you're dropping a yes, sir on people, I like your chances. And I like Matt Lato's chances tonight. He's looking good.
Yes, sir.
Run on Saturday, June the 2nd. This year, make sure you're able to fundraise for the Reds Community Fund and be rewarded with Reds tickets, signed memorabilia, and so much more. The Redlegs Run benefits the baseball theme outreach community, the Reds Community Fund. Visit reds.com/run. That's always a great time. You finish up right here inside the ballpark. Reds with a 4-2 lead over Brandon Beachy and the Atlanta Braves. Game 2 of this 4-game series. Every run the Reds have scored in this series has come via the long ball. They had 4 of them last night. 3 of them so far tonight. And again, Latos and Cozart against Beachy here in the last of the 5th inning. Right at Bourne. Knee buckling breaking ball there. Strike 1 to Latos. He looked at strike 3 his first time up. Boy, it has turned into, as predicted by Tim Hedrick, an absolutely spectacular weather night. What a last couple of weeks it has been here. Really since Mother's Day, when we had that long rain delay playing into the night. Reds got the game-ending grand slam by Joey Votto. Had a little cloud cover for the first time today in quite some time, and they're expecting nothing but bright sunshine and beautiful weather through the entire weekend. So the Reds are home tomorrow night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. Second strikeout tonight for Beachy. At both times he's fanned Latos. If you're playing along with us during our game, here's your bonus question. How many extra base hits will the teams combine for during the 8th inning of the game tonight? If you're not playing along, make sure you join us on FoxSportsOhio.com every Tuesday. Winners will be announced in tonight's Reds Live postgame show. Cozart has popped up to the catcher and homer to left center. Now the 0-2 pitch. Fastball high. Oh, and you've been pitching the way Beachy has this year. Your MO certainly, among other things, is getting ahead. He has thrown a first pitch strike to 18 out of 19 Reds hitters tonight. Just been hurt on the long ball. And there's strike 3 to Cozart in a 1-2-3 fifth. We move to the 6th. Reds lead by a pair. brought to you by JTM Food Group, creating great dishes together for the food service industry for over 30 years. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers, visit buyatoyota.com. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Well, down along the Commonwealth, Kentucky side of the Ohio River. Folks hanging out, doing a little fishing. It's right up your alley, Chris Wells.
Hey, if they're biting, I'll be there. What about the trivia question for tonight? Who has the most home runs by a Reds pitcher in franchise history?
I'm betting on the old left-hander.
You know, that's the first one that comes to mind, no doubt. It's going to have to be somebody. If anybody's got more than the old left-hander, it's before he played.
Yes. Because Joe Nuxhall is not only an outstanding pitcher, but he can swing the bat. It's a very important inning here for Matt Latos. You can find a way to retire this group in order. Well, now you'll navigate yourself through, in a perfect world, the 7th and the 8th with the bottom of the order.
True, but it's also the part of the order that he's had the most problems with. Obviously, that's what you do. You have your best hitters early and then in the middle of the lineup.
Well, now, Prado, he's done all right. Bourne, he's allowed a couple of hits. Freeman, a hit. Uglo, a walk and a run. Hayward, an RBI double. And there's a base hit to begin the inning.
Tell you what, that kid's got a quick bat. I mean, he jumped on that high fastball right now. If you look at the top two guys in this lineup and the on-base percentages that they have. Bourne up around 380, Prado up around 400. I mean, those guys batting third and fourth, and of course Brian McCann not in the lineup tonight. They get a lot of opportunities to knock runners around or knock them in.
Hannigan out for a quick visit with Latos as it's strike one on the foul ball off the bat of Freeman, who hit that rocket off the wall in right center field leading off the 4th inning. Drew Stubbs played it perfectly off the wall, made a one-hop throw right at the bag where Brandon Phillips tagged him out. Freeman only in his second full year. He was runner-up, you may remember, for the National League's Rookie of the Year last season to his teammate, their closer Craig Kimbrell. One and two. Strike three called, and Freeman knew it.
Expertly located fastball right on the outside corner. But look at Ryan Hannigan is. He got it and he's going to hold it right there.
6th strikeout of the game for Latos. 1 out, 1 on for Dan Uglo, who's fly to right, walked and scored. Uglo with tremendous power. We mentioned earlier 5 years of clubbing 30 or more home runs. That is a major league all-time record for a second baseman. He has 5 of them this year, and with 1 on, he represents a tying run here in the Atlanta 6th. Cardinals and Padres underway. St. Louis rallied thanks to Tyler Green late in the game last night to get a 1-run win, and the Cardinals lead by 1 run in the second inning tonight. Two balls and a strike to Ugley. Reds, of course, beginning play tonight, just a half game behind St. Louis in the National League Central Division. Chop foul. The last time the Reds were in sole possession of first place was a year and 4 days ago. And 159 games ago. The Reds win and a Cardinal loss tonight would put them atop the Central. Atlanta team coming in just a half game better than the Nationals. Nationals took it to Philadelphia last night, and they're taking it to them again tonight. 5-1 Washington in the bottom of the 5th inning in Philadelphia. Cueto's having a tough time putting Uggla away. That's 2 straight at bats now. Last time, you may remember, he had him 0-2 and wound up walking.
Well, it looks like Uggla recognizes that breaking ball early on, and he's not chasing the ones that are on the corners or just off the corners. That's exactly what I mean. Ryan Hannigan really wanted that one on the plate. I mean, that's not Uggla's forte, is to hit that breaking ball down and away. Whose is it, really? But now you got to go on a 3-2 count. You got to come in there with something. Another breaking ball.
When it goes. And it's popped up. Hannigan, not a lot of room back there, but has enough to get this one.
Well, he got away with one right there. A hanger right down Broadway. Uggla popped it up, and fortunately it stayed right in play. So sometimes you make a bad pitch, you get a good result.
Take Fox Sports Ohio's coverage of the Reds with you this season with MLB.tv. Visit Reds.com to order. One more big out to get here in the Atlanta 6th. Hayward doubled down the right field line to knock in Uggla in the 4th inning. When you saw that shot, Uggla, he is hot.
What Jason Hayward did in the last at bat was took a lot of pitches that were up and out of the strike zone, just like that one he just saw, not chasing that pitch. And finally, later in the at bat, he got a low fastball, and that's the one he zinged down the right field line. Almost every time you have a hitter is as tall as Jason Hayward, especially a guy that's all legs like he is, he's naturally going to be a low ball hitter. Plus, he holds the bat almost straight up and down, which shows me that he likes to just drop that bat head down around thigh high. That's where his strength is.
Challenge with a fastball up and in there. 1-2.
That's a good spot for Latos. He's got a lot of ride on that four-seamer. He can throw that up around the letters and it stays right there. He throws it hard enough to do that. If you top out at 88 miles an hour, I wouldn't recommend Mike Leake living up in the zone, but that's where Latos can. That's how different guys can be based on what they throw.
Latos trying to put a cap on this Atlanta 6th inning. And does. 7 strikeouts for Latos. That one coming on his 100th pitch of the night. Leadoff hit, no damage. Can for a smoother pour. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. All right, let's answer our AT&T trivia question tonight. Chris, you and I both thought it would be Joe Nuxhall.
I still think it's Joe Nuxhall. I think he had 15 or 16 of them. That's a lot for a pitcher. There it is. Nice. You were right on it, partner.
Well, you had the number. I mean, that's big league there now.
Well, I mean, played golf with him enough. I made him tell me about every one of them.
And, of course, the Joe Nuxhall Foundation just continues to do just remarkable work for kids in greater Cincinnati. And, of course, now one of Joe's children, Kim, his wife, Bonnie, the entire family's involved in it. They've got the big Joe Nuxhall golf tournament coming up. And, of course, they're very close to having that Miracle League field built. Cincinnati's going to have 3 of those fields, and I don't think there's any more than about 15 or 20 of them in the United States.
Now, those are fields that are made of all artificial turf, artificial surface, so those kids that are getting around by wheelchairs can play, and they have stadium seating up there at the ones that they're building at the new center.
That one's up in Butler County, the one they're building.
That's right. And it's just fabulous. I mean, there'll be 2 fields up there, grandstands. There'll be a big scoreboard where these kids will be able to see themselves on the big screen. I mean, it's just fabulous. And what Kim Nuxhall has done to go out there to continue the legacy that his father built here for so many years. What great work.
No doubt about it. Kim and Bonnie and the entire gang up there and all those that are helping build that field. Great stuff. Stubbs pops up to the second baseman, Ugla, to begin the bottom of the 6th inning. Brandon Beachy due up 4th in the 7th inning. The Reds have a 2-run lead against him.
Well, he's handled Joey Votto pretty well. Votto jumped on a curveball in the 1st inning, popped it up. Got jammed by a fastball last time. Let's see how Brandon Beachy goes about getting him. Change up the other way. Votto's ready.
What a night it's been for the Reds second baseman Brandon Phillips. He had 2 home runs the entire year coming into the game tonight. Had a 2-run home run to center in the first inning, a solo shot to right center in the fourth. The 7 home runs in this series, and it's only the second game of a 4-game series. The most home runs allowed in a series by Atlanta pitching going back to 2010. And we're not even halfway through it yet.
Well, Brandon has hit a fastball both times up. That's what you were talking about right there, Tom. That's why Beachy's going to lead him off with a breaking ball right there, and Brandon not biting.
And if you notice that series against St. Louis when they allowed 8, that was 8 runs in a 4-game series. Good looking curveball right there.
Yeah, you know, the first pitch was a curve. That was a slider. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference, but Beachy's slider will be about 82 miles an hour. His curveball in the 70. In fact, Tom, he just started throwing that slider again. In fact, when he came up through the Braves organization, they didn't want him throwing a slider. So they said curveball only. So you're right about that. Sometimes, you know, when you're charting in the other dugout, without the help of the center field camera, you just write down breaking ball. He's got kind of an interesting little move in his windup where he kind of bounces off his back leg. Lifts his left leg up only about 3 or 4 inches off the ground and bounces and goes.
When it goes and a throw is high. And in there with a stolen base is Joey Votto. That's his 3rd. So we talked early in the game. I mean, Ross, a very good defensive catcher with an excellent arm. Beachy quick to the plate, but the Reds 2 out of 2 in the game.
Well, look at the jump, though, that Joey Votto gets right here. He doesn't have a big lead, and he kind of probably took a short lead on purpose so that Beachy wouldn't waste a lot of time throwing over to first base. So you lull the pitcher to sleep. You get him thinking that he's not even going to be a stolen base candidate. Next thing you know, you're off and running. A sneak attack by Votto.
Well, now Phillips a chance to pick up another run batted in. Not this time. Votto 1 to 3rd, and they're 2 away.
Jammed him on a fastball, stayed away from the double play ball by that stolen base by Votto. How about our Mazda pitch by pitch? Brandon Beachy against Brandon Phillips. First pitch breaking ball missed. He's going to stay with that breaking ball. There's the slider. There's a fastball up, and that's the one he gets a stolen base on. And another fastball this time jams him. So mixing it up against the Reds second baseman who's already taken him deep twice.
All right, what kind of adjustment you look for from Jay Bruce here? Beachy's handled him very easily tonight.
Well, he's handled it because Jay Bruce is getting himself out. And you just got to keep that shoulder in there. See how far? See him kind of flailing at that pitch right there? He's so anxious to hit. It was a first pitch changeup. Jay read that as a first pitch fastball and was coming out of his shoes trying to hit a ball over the wall to show everybody he's out of his slump. He just has to relax and let the game come to him. Very easy to say, very tough to do. And normally the catcher that catches Brandon Beachy has been Brian McCann. Only one other time this year has David Ross been behind the plate. So they're going to make sure that they got things going on right here with a guy that certainly has the power to blow this game up with a long ball. I imagine he'll stay away from him. Yep, he wants a slider. The backdoor slider.
Bruce 1 hit in his last 22 at bats. And really, these are the situations where it's even been magnified even more, the struggles of Cruz, despite pretty good numbers this year. With runners in scoring position, Bruce is a 162 batter. What a play by Ross.
Boy, you're not kidding. You know that you're not even going to think about getting a glove on that ball. How about just getting that big body in front of it? You know, what's the tough thing about that is it's a breaking ball. There's so much spin that you're really not sure where that ball is going to bounce. So that's why you just give up trying to glove it and you put your body in front of it with Votto at third base. That would have been an extra run.
Two and two now on Jay Bruce, looking for a hit to get in Votto from third. Not going to do it.
What a great change up there, though.
We move to the seventh. Reds lead 4-2. Game summary and the long ball again, the story tonight. Michael Bourne to lead off the game. Bottom of the first inning, Brandon Phillips, a two-run shot to center, gave the Reds a 2-1 lead. Zack Cozart in the third made it 3-1. Atlanta scored on a Hayward double in the fourth. The lead went back to 2 and Phillips homered for the second time. So you're up to speed. Reds have hit 7 home runs in the first 2 games against Atlanta. But much like last night, you can hit the home runs and you feel like you're really in command of the game, but you look up on the board. Last night it was a 3-run game. Tonight only 2. So now Latos to face Francisco. They just chewed him up with an inside fastball and it's out of play. Now the 6, 7, 8 and 9 hole hitters tonight, not one has reached base against Latos. Mattis fan 7. He's allowed 5 hits and 2 runs. He's walked 1 and the only batter he walked all night. Uggla in the 4th inning scored. This is where you want to see when you bring in a guy like Latos, and if he's not your number 1 guy, that of course is Cueto, but 1A potential.
Well, back in the day, Tom, they used to talk about a pitcher smelling it, meaning you're smelling the end of the ball game. That's when you start getting stronger. And after that little hiccup he had in the 4th inning, it's been pretty much cruise control for Latos. Good pitch right there, jams Francisco.
So 1 out here in the Atlanta 7th inning. Latos trying to get his 3rd win of the year and give the Reds their 4th consecutive win, which would put them 4 games over the 500 mark.
It's been a while since they've won 4 straight, hasn't it? Glad to know your dad is spending a nice evening in front of the TV watching us.
Well, he was getting the grand tour of the new school they're building out there in Marymount tonight. And so after he made that tour, he made it back home, and he's dialed in. So, Dad, hope you're having a good night tonight.
I'm glad you've never gotten so old and so big for your britches that he can't critique your work.
Oh, he does every single night. In fact, he's been critiquing my entire life for 48 years.
That's a full-time job.
Oh, you're not lying. There was a time it was really a job. 0-2 to Ross. 95 gas up in the strike zone, and Ross gone swinging, 8 of them for Latos. Well, we invite you to join Fox Sports Ohio, Drew Stubbs, Jim Day, and the Fox Sports Ohio girls on June the 7th, part of the Fox Sports Ohio Lunch Bunch. So go to Facebook.com/Fox Sports Ohio girls for your chance to be at the lunch. Win a 46-inch HD TV. Sign up now. Only 2 days left to enter. It's presented by Cincinnati Bell. Pastor Nicky, the batter.
I'll tell you, Latos is smelling it. See the body language after he struck out David Ross, kind of pumped up a little bit, walking around the mound, gets right back on the rubber, ready to go, waiting for Pastor Nicky to get into the batter's box.
I mean, it's nothing but good old country hardball here in this inning. First 2 pitches in this at bat, 94, 95 to get ahead 0-2. And now Latos trying to finish off the Braves here in the 7th inning. Foul ball. 110 pitches on the night for Latos.
I'll tell you what, I think the guy's still getting loose.
I'm with you.
I mean, I run him on out there. I mean, it's easy to manage him up here at the 3rd level. But, I mean, he's getting stronger and stronger. And if you're looking for a day to save your bullpen, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day.
Well, I thought you
got
brought
a big horse like him. He's just running smooth right now.
I mean, you brought up a great point early in the game, though. A lot of times you see his body language. It's really not very good. Right now, it's as good as I've seen it since he joined the Reds. You agree?
Yeah, I agree. That's why I commented on it.
I mean, he's walking around on the mound here at Great American Ballpark right now like the guy who was walking around on the mound a lot out in San Diego.
As the biggest
when
guy,
he went on the road.
Biggest, baddest guy in the ballpark. That's what you want to feel like when you're standing on the mound.
Pastor Nicky not going to make it easy. This will be the 8th pitch in this at bat, the 114th on the night for Latos. Quite a battle here.
He's just trying to foul the ball off. I mean, he's not up there trying to pull the ball, not up there trying to drive it. He's just staying alive.
Pitch number 10 now in this at bat. 2-2 the count. This appears to be playable for Votto. It is. Inning over.
Nice catch.
Latos 7 innings of 2-run baseball. By Toby Keese. I love this bar and grill. Johnny Rockets, Holy Grail and Grill, and the Moreland Lager House. Pre-game, enjoy some drink specials. Cheer on the Reds. They take on the Rockies. Fireworks after the game Friday night. Read one Reds or visit Reds.com for tickets. It's going to be a great weekend, great weather weekend, and it's been a really good night tonight for that young man. 25 years old, Matt Latos. It's easy to forget about that sometimes. .116 pitches. Does that look like a guy who's coming out of the game to you, Chris?
Well, they've got Logan Ondrusek warming up in the bullpen. I think it does look like he's coming out. Because you don't talk to the guy when he's in the middle of the game. You let him sit on the bench, get into his own thoughts, think about it. Now he's got Mike Leake down there talking to him. He's in front of Bronson Arroyo. Of course, that's Brian Price to his right, talking about his curveball. So you have a game like that, not only is Latos elated, but so is the pitching coach. Because, I mean, there's a lot on Brian Price, too. You go out and you trade 4 players for 1 guy in return, and he goes off to a slow start. And whoever his coach is, if it's a hitter, the hitting coach is on the spot. If it's a pitcher, like Latos, the pitching coach is on the spot. He's got guys above him saying, what's going on with this guy? So, big sigh of relief for everybody in that dugout.
Izzy leads off the Reds' bottom of the 7th inning against Beachy with a base hit. Sixth hit of the night for the Reds against his talented young right-hander. Tell you, this Braves starting rotation not only very good, but much like the Reds, very young. You know, they get Jair Jurgen straightened out and get him back up to the big leagues. I mean, the only guy with any age to him at all in their rotation is the oft-injured Tim Hudson. Came back off the DL. Reds saw him last week. He threw the ball very well. I mean, the rest of these guys, Beachy, Hansen, we'll see him in a series. Delgado. Roll a foul ball of the third base line. You know, you look at the Reds, where Homer Bailey a little over a week ago turned 26. The Reds have 4/5 of their starting rotation under 27. 3 of the 5 are 25. And the only veteran in their rotation, of course, is Bronson Arroyo. Arroyo will get the ball here tomorrow night against Hansen, then Bailey and Delgado on Thursday night. Breaking ball popped up. That'll be handled by the shortstop. Saw Todd Frazier down in that Reds dugout walking around with a helmet on, and so too is Mike Costanzo. There you see Frazier took the helmet off and stretching out. Don't be surprised here if the Reds are thinking about a little hit and run. This is without a doubt by far their best hitter in the lineup to play hit and run with. You'd love to have Heisey standing at third base with 1 out in this inning.
Yeah, the Braves are thinking the same thing. They're going to try to shorten the lead right there just to maybe discourage it, because sometimes a manager will keep it on. for a pitch, and then you throw over a couple of times, he takes it off. He's afraid of maybe a pitch out, something like that, although not likely now on a 1-0 count. Good time to hit and run. You're expecting to get a ball in the strike zone.
Runner goes. They do pitch out. And he's out at second base. So the Braves guessed right.
Interesting the way the Braves played that. The first thing they did is they threw over to first base to shorten up the lead. The next thing they do is they pitch out and the throw right there into the runner. Dan Uggla makes a swipe tag, and Chris Heisey is out as he goes feet first into second base. Boy, Uggla was lucky to hang on to that ball. So that's one reason why you don't like to hit and run all the time. Although we haven't seen too many pitch outs. I could probably count on maybe one hand the number of times that teams have pitched out against the Reds this year.
And I'm not sure you'd be able to need to use all 5 fingers.
Well, hey, you asked me if I'm going to be around on the weekend. Yes, I am. Sunday will be a day I'm going to be here. I'm going to run over to one of the UDFs here at the stadium and get the cards for the third out game. You ever played third out? You get cards and you pass them out to the people that you're around you in the ballpark. I think there's 9 of them. And whoever touches the ball as the third out is made is the winner of that particular hand.
Cool game, sounds like.
It's a fun game. Fun, simple game. So this is Sunday, the third out game. You get them at the UDF. I'm picking up a pack here pretty soon. You and I are going to play.
I'm in. Here's Mike Costanzo, native Pennsylvanian. Batting for Latos. Throws 116 pitches in the game tonight. Allows 5 hits, 2 runs. Over his 7 strong inning.
I correct that. You know, it's not the UDF. It's the Bob Evans fan zone down in right field. That's where you get your free game.
I got you. 8 strikeouts, 1 walk tonight for Latos.
And good body language.
Big swing and a miss. Two-one to Costanzo, and it's rolled over foul. Well, Reds fans, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting, healthier products for your menu. JTM. We are in the bottom of the 7th inning. Game 2 of this 4-game set. Reds came away 4-1 winners last night. 4-2 Reds so far tonight. Pull the string on him, and that'll end the inning. A hit, a man left. We move to the 8th. Bullpen takes over for Latos. Nearly 27,000 on this Tuesday night. What a crowd tonight.
Good crowd, well-played ball game. No errors in this game. Not a lot of hits to go around. Only 11 overall, but some long balls. Michael Bourne led the game off with a long ball, and then the Reds have responded with 3 of their own, including a couple by Brandon Phillips, Logan Ondrusek. Last 2 ball games he's been in, the Reds have won. Both of those against the New York Yankees. 21 games now for this 6'8" right-hander. Throwing the ball downhill and throwing it as well as he ever has.
Of course, for those that are watching the Reds and maybe Ondrusek with infrequency this year, Ondrusek did not allow a single run through the first 15 1/3 innings of this season. That's the 3rd most innings among all major league relievers to have not allowed a run to start this year. And of course, one of the other 2 is teammate Aroldis Chapman, who's allowed 1 run, an unearned run. Ball 1 down low to Eric Kinski, batting for Beachy to begin the Atlanta 8th inning. But then when Ondrusek gave it up, boy, did he give it up. A career high 5 runs in that loss to the Mets. So that's why his ERA is at 2.55. He's only allowed runs in 1 game.
.96 at the knees.
Well, were it not for that single game against the Mets, the Reds wouldn't be number 2 among all bullpens in the National League in ERA. The Pirates barely have them edged out, but the Reds by far have been the leaders for best bullpen ERA in the National League this entire year. And there's a strikeout of Hinske to begin the 8th inning.
Well, he's got a nasty split finger pitch, but why waste it? Well, you can throw 97 and have that ball with a little hair running away from a left-handed hitter. Good night.
Reds bullpen does lead the National League in opponents' batting average. They're batting .214 against this bullpen. And that's without, of course, Ryan Madson at all, and still without Nick Masson. Two and one to Bourne. Michael Bourne's had a good night. Home run to lead off the game to right field, double to left center in the 3rd, then bounced out to the mound in the 5th.
You know, anytime you have a big guy like Logan Ondrusek, long legs, throwing the ball as hard as he is, he's closer to home plate than a guy who's shorter, just by virtue of his stride. So that 96 miles an hour fastball right there might be an effective 98 or 99 compared to a guy who's, say, 6 foot or 6'1". I mean, after all, he's got 7 inches on you. That's how much closer it goes to the plate.
Bourne pulls one to deep right center, and that will find the seats. What a night for Michael Bourne. 1 home run all year. He has 2 in the game tonight. And it is a 1-run game.
Well, you better keep the ball down on him. Both the pitches he hit. The one off of Matt Latos in the 1st inning, a 3-2 fastball up. And this ball up, too. Ondrusek was good at keeping the ball down, and then he gets that ball just a little bit above the belt, and Bourne, boy, he turns on it.
Well, here we have a 1-run game with 1 out in the 8th inning. First time in the career of Michael Bourne he's ever hit 2 home runs in a game.
I never thought I'd see it. Guy's turned himself into one heck of a good player.
Now Prado. Ondrusek falls behind him, 2-0. Narius Old throwing in the Reds bullpen. I mean, normally when you get guys like Chapman, Andrusik, by and large Marshall showing up in Reds games this season, it has been lockdown time. Fly ball, left center, 2 out. Well, I know you're looking forward to the Columbus Crew playing the second game in 4 days tomorrow night. They're out in Seattle against the Sounders. We'll have all the play-by-play right here on the home of the Crew, Fox Sports Ohio.
It's kind of a weird couple of games, though, from an offensive standpoint. You've had 10 home runs in this 2-game series, and 9 of those home runs have been solo shots. I mean, normally a team, if you look at all of Major League Baseball this year, the average Major League team hits about 58% of their home runs as solo shots. The Reds have hit 68% this year, coming into tonight as solo shots, but 90% of them here in this series already. Weird.
Boy, Freeman has just been eaten up tonight. All right, Reds back for what they hope will be the final time, leading by a run. Cincinnati Children's in the top 10 for all selected pediatric specialties for best children's hospitals. And by the dependable, long-lasting Chevy Silverado and your tri-state Chevy dealers. Reds bat, bottom of the 8th inning. We saw Chris Medlin last night.
He was pretty good, too. He struck out 2 of the 3 batters he faced. He went to the lower third of the Reds lineup, a couple of strikeouts and a fly ball, and he'll come in here to try to keep it close. A 1-run lead right now for the Reds.
Well, I would imagine Aroldis Chapman will be up and throwing. In fact, he is now in the Reds bullpen. Picked up his first save at Yankee Stadium over the weekend. He had pitched in 4 out of 5 games, so Dusty Baker stayed away from him here last night. Gave Jose Arredondo a chance to close it out. There's a line drive, but Bourne is standing there. Hard hit ball by Cozart. Of course, Arredondo retired the first 2 batters and walked 2 batters. With a left-handed batting Jason Hayward coming up, Dusty brought in Sean Marshall. So now Stubbs, 1 out of 3, and an infield hit, stole a base, scored a run on the Phillips home run in the first inning. Breaking ball in there, strike 2 and 2 to Stubbs. Votto to follow. Take a peek ahead to the Atlanta top of the 9th inning. Right-handed batting Dan Uggla. And then left-handed batters Hayward and Francisco. Of course, they have Brian McCann over on that bench. On the right side, they have Jack Wilson and Matt Diaz. And, of course, Chipper Jones is down there. Now, you wonder, brought up earlier, Chipper did take batting practice today. There's ball 4 to Stubbs. And he's a 1-out base runner. If you haven't heard, tonight's Ohio Lottery Mega Millions jackpot up to $16 million, and the drawing is at 11 p.m. tonight. Good luck. Freddie Gonzalez will make the change as 2 left-handers down in that bullpen. And so our skyline.
All night in America. Carlos Gonzalez and the Rockies will be in Cincinnati right here to face your Cincinnati Reds. Baseball Night in America presented by Chevrolet begins Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern only on Fox.
All right, 1-on-1 out here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Reds with a 1-run lead, and Eric O'Flaherty comes on to face Joey Votto. Nobody else getting loose down in that Atlanta bullpen, so O'Flaherty, it looks like for the time being, will be asked to finish off the Reds here in the 8th if he can. What an unbelievable year this guy had last year. Truly one of the greatest seasons in the history of Major League Baseball. In fact, O'Flaherty last year, his earned run average, which was 0.98, needless to say, led all Major League relievers. But it was the lowest in the history of the game for any pitcher to throw in 75 or more games over a season. And, you know, using an example, Chris, what I was just talking about a minute ago with Logan Andrusa. Andrusa goes 15 games, doesn't give up a run. He has one bad outing. And it's going to take him a month to get that earned run average under 1.
Well, O'Flaherty did it over a lot of games. I mean, he was in 78 games last year. That's a lot of times you're up and down in the bullpen. You're being brought into a ball game. Fastball, slider. That's the way he gets it done. 60% flat fastballs, about 30% sliders. Gets 2 strikes on a left-hander, and most of the time sliders. But Joey Votto is as good left-handed hitter versus lefty hitter on a breaking ball as you will ever see.
Two on Joey Votto. Stubbs at first base, and here it comes. Struck him out.
Stayed with the heat. Boy, a little cut action at the very end of that. Joey Votto upset. Takes it personally when a left-hander gets him out. I like that, actually. Guy gets a case of the goo and somebody gets him out. Rather than acting like you don't care, that guy cares.
Well, now Brandon Phillips. 2 out of 3. Both hits have been home runs. A 2-run homer in the first, solo shot in the fourth, strike 1.
Look at it from Freddie Gonzalez's viewpoint, though, Tom. If you got Eric O'Flaherty, and he was so good last year, how strong is the temptation to run him out there every chance you get? You got to be a little backed off this year because you can't run him up too much early in the year.
Right back to the mound. O'Flaherty gets a job done in the 8th, retiring Votto and Phillips. So here we go in the 9th. Uggla, Hayward, Francisco, and Chapman coming on from the bullpen. It was a big one looking back now in the 4th inning, because the Braves would score later in that inning. But the inning began with a rocket off the wall by Freeman. But what a throw by Stubbs to cut him down. And right now, if he's safe at second base the way the rest of that inning played out, Chris, we'd be in a tie game.
Yeah, that's if you just play it out as it turned out. It could have gotten a whole lot worse than that right there. You know, every pitcher, or normally every pitcher, even on a good night, has an inning where it looks like it could go the other way. And that great defensive play by Drew Stubbs kept the Braves intact. And the Reds nursing a 1-run lead. Who else do they go to but their closer? The Cuban Missile, Aroldis Chapman, sporting that earned run average of 0-0-0. He has struck out 39, walked 7. And he's going to bring the Heat to the middle of their order.
Of course, Chapman arrested late Sunday night, early Monday morning in the Columbus, Ohio area for driving with a suspended driver's license.
Only 4 more tickets. He's right there with you.
Fastball up and away, ball 1. Dan Uglin, Jason Hayward, and Juan Francisco. I'm not even acknowledging that. And there's a strike.
I may have inflated the number.
I don't think you did. In fact, you may have given me a break. One. 97 miles per hour, but just a little bit high, according to Ed Hickox. Reds with a 1-run lead. Chapman, of course, if you give up a lead in the 7th or 8th inning as a setup man, you can be charged with a blown save. Only one time has he come into the game as the closer. That was Sunday in New York, after Dusty Baker decided to make that change after the rough outing the day before by Sean Marshall. And Chapman nailed it down in making it back-to-back wins in the Bronx. See you later. 40 strikeouts against 7 walks for Aroldis Chapman.
He just blows it right by one of the better fastball hitters in the league right there at 98, blowing away. You know, the save that he got in New York, not quite as tense. Not trying to take anything away from it, but he had a 3-run lead. Here, you don't have that. You've got one small mistake, and you've got the guys in this lineup that can take you deep, but he's got some adrenaline pumping. You've got to believe that this is what he's been waiting for. I mean, if you're going to be in the bullpen, I know he wanted to be a starter. The Reds wanted him to be a starter coming out of spring training. That didn't work out for a number of different reasons. We've hashed those out forever. But now that he's in the bullpen, this is where he wants to be.
Of course, there's still a lot of folks out there that believe Chapman is still destined to go into the Reds starting rotation sometime this year. That has been the plan pretty much all along. It'll be fascinating to see how it plays out, but that's for another day and another time. Right now, he's got 2 outs to get a 1-run win.
And one of the guys is Jason Hayward in the batter's box now. It was one of the best at-bats that I've seen Chapman have all year long when he faced Hayward down in Atlanta. 3 pitches, see ya. It was 2 of those, and then he dropped a slider on Jason Hayward that I really thought Jason Hayward was going to hurt himself trying to swing at. Now, you know in the back of Hayward's mind right now is he bringing the gas like that, or is he going with the slider?
Gas at 100 miles per hour.
Is a thing of beauty.
Well, now Matt Diaz a batter. 2 outs. And make no mistake, you can make a mistake to this guy, because he's another guy that's more than capable of turning around a fastball into the seats. Down to third, off the chest of Cairo, and the Braves have the tying run aboard. Now the question is, do we see Brian McCann? Well, that tells you that he is hurting tonight.
Well, yeah, you're probably right, because Brian McCann did put a pretty good swing on Chapman when he saw him down in Atlanta. I saw Brian McCann last night. We've not heard anything official about McCann. Maybe it's not even right to speculate, but I thought he was stretching his back out a little bit in between pitches last night. But it'll be David Ross. Chapman needs him for the last out and the save.
But Chris, you were the guy that said early in the game, this guy's capable of running into 1-2. I don't know about up there at 98. For the electricity in this crowd, nearly 27,000. Almost every one of them standing up. 1 ball and 1 strike to David Ross.
I could get used to a summer of this. 9th inning, bringing Chapman in, people on their feet. That's what coming to a ball game is all about.
One and one on Ross.
He hasn't thrown anything but gas tonight.
Why would you? Boy, and there's no fooling around with Chapman. A year ago, he'd be walking around the mound, all kinds of time between pitches. Now it's get the ball from the catcher. As soon as you say that, it's cleaning off the spikes, but right on that rubber and looking in. Two-two pitch. Way outside. Perhaps a little too amped up. Now time to zero in. Master Nicky, the shortstop, waiting. Game over. The Cuban missile nails it down in the 9th. Did not throw a single slider in the 9th inning. Chapman gets his 2nd save, and don't look now, the Reds have ripped off 4 in a row. They are 4 games over the 500 mark for the first time all year after this 4-3 win.
Well, they've ripped off 4 in a row against 2 pretty good ball clubs, the New York Yankees and the Atlanta Braves. Some people's preseason picks to win each of the leagues. So they're beginning to come together a little bit. They hit the long ball in this series. They played very good defense. And Brandon Phillips, his couple of bombs. Chapman, Matt Latos. Nice night at the ballpark.
Latos a winner, now 3-2. The loser, Beachy, only his 2nd loss in 7 decisions. And Chapman was save number 2. Reds win 4-3 our final.